Maverick 100.9, Aggieland's country alternative. It's Corliss back with one of my girls. My Aggieland artist, Taylor Graves, is here. Hey, baby, how are you?
We are surviving and thriving. That is the best way that I can put it.
That's the goal. I had to ask you before we started recording. I was like, you moved away from College Station to Austin. We lost you to Austin, but it actually sounds like it's been a pretty good move for you.
Oh yeah, honestly, there was so much apprehension in the move just because College Station was home for 6 years.
Yeah.
And at that point, the band had been established, and three out of four of us were living in College Station. And then Lucas was living in Austin. And it just seemed like it was time for a switch up. Like I felt like I kind of hit this plateau in College Station. And Lucas and I had started getting into a groove writing together, and the band was like super tight and super solid. So I was a little apprehensive to leave, but I knew that Lucas and I really needed to be in the same city so that we could write together whenever we needed to get the things done that we needed to get done. And then we were just like, screw it, and ended up finding a house, and they were roommates.
And they were roommates. Well, we've got a lot to touch on, including a little bit of the rebranding. It's not just Taylor Graves anymore. It's Taylor Graves and the Tombstone Trio. So once we listen to the new single, we're going to talk more about the band and all these new
Yeah.
things going on. But I bring it up now before we listen to the single because the new single is called Gravestone. So is this a play on words with the band and your last name?
It actually is just a happy coincidence.
I had a feeling. I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, it was totally a coincidence. It worked out in our favor for sure, but it was not planned. It was not something that was even talked about when we were writing the song. The song didn't have a name until we were done. We didn't even think about it. And then it was just pure, we almost didn't record this song. It was just pure coincidence that this was the song that we went with, and it was our first release as a band.
Right.
And everybody said something about it. Everybody's like, Taylor Graves and the Tombstone Trio, and your first song's Gravestone. Like, that was clever. And I just look at him like there was absolutely no strategy involved in this whatsoever, but I'll take it.
I love that. I love that. Well, it was perfect. And we got to talk about that as well. Like, I kind of forget that, like, you just started here with me as an Aggieland artist. So, Nightmare in a Dress, we've been playing for God, how long now? So, this is actually your first release to radio. No matter how well we know you, you've done and did it now.
Yeah, it's honestly unreal. It's so crazy and so wild that we have been able to do what we did, because there was a lot of I don't want to say forces pushing against us, but the universe was almost like working against us throughout this entire process to get this song out and on the radio. And then everything just fell into place. We found the right people that we wanted to work with. We built the team that we wanted to work with. And it's been out for not even a month, and we're already charted.
I'm
And
so
that's
ungodly proud.
unbelievable.
I'm so proud. Because once again, you're mine. Like, you're one of my babies. And everybody else is getting to know you now. And I'm so excited about that. And so we'll also kind of have to talk along those lines as well. But I do know that this was a long haul because you and I have been texting back and forth for months. And
Yeah, we
testing out
got in the
music
studio like February 11th, I
yeah.
think was when we first started tracking. And I remember hitting you up and being like, hey, just letting you know, we got some songs in the works, and they will be coming to you. And then we get them done, and then it was just like we sat on them for so long, and it's just like they sat there, and I was like, I don't know what to do with them. And then, you know, I met Dylan, and the rest is history. And he was like, we need to get Gravestone out now, like today. And I was like, all right, what do I need to do to make that happen? And he told me everything that I needed to do, and linked up with Kevin Poole from Chad Cook Band
That's my
to
boy.
get all of our photos and all of that and all of the band stuff together, and working with BMI. And it was a very, very stressful week and a half, 2 weeks, getting
I bet.
everything together, but we managed to do it. And I remember putting it on DistroKid and being like, there's a very high possibility that this song doesn't come out on the day it's supposed to drop. But it did. It did this time. Last time it didn't. This time it did.
Well, working with good friends also helps. And like the people you just named, Dylan Steen, Kevin Poole, those are two really, really good friends of mine. And they're the type of people that I trust when it comes to work and our art and everything like that. So I'm so glad you are surrounding yourself with good people. So before we take a listen, just give me the little synopsis about Gravestone. What's this one about?
So Gravestone was the first song that the boys and I wrote together as a band. It was the first song that we all wrote in the same room, start to finish. And so, you know, Dave and Randy, I don't think had really been a part of my writing process. So they didn't really know like how I go about doing that. Lucas obviously has been a part of that a lot. So he knows that, because what happens is we'll start jamming something, and then I'll be like, all right, everybody, like, just stop talking, nobody breathe. And then I'll type out some lyrics, and I'll be like, okay, like, let's run it back, let's try it. And Lucas started playing that little guitar groove, and I was like, ooh, like, I think we were in band practice, and we were like just practicing songs, and then in between songs, Lucas started just kind of jamming that little riff. And I was like, did you just come up with that on the fly? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, just keep looping that. Just keep looping
going.
it. And then and then everyone kind of just jumped in, and I was like, I don't know where this is going. And then the first line that came out of my mouth was, I've been known to lose my cool when the bartender pours them up wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys looked at me, and I was like, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I come on a little bit strong. And then the song just kind of took on this whole, we talked last time about the girls in country music always being an accessory, and always just like either being psycho or an accessory. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I don't understand why that has to be the narrative. So everybody that knows me knows that I'm just not that ladylike. And I'm very, very sure of myself and who I am as a person. And I've always been, I don't want to say one of the guys, but that's typically how it goes over. And so I wanted to write a song for all of the girls that are like me, in terms of, you don't have to do things to please other people. And honestly, at the end of the day, other people's opinions, like, they can say what they want to say, but you shouldn't let it affect you or dictate how you're going to act, what you're going to do. You should just stay authentic and stay true to yourself. So at the end of the day, say what you want to say. And then the line that came out of that was, just put that on my gravestone.
You bet. I love it. And
here we are.
I gotta tell you, especially with all the younger artists that I work with so frequently, me at your age, I did not know who I was, or even if I did, I was way too scared to be her. And I lost way too much of my youth trying to fall in line with everybody else. There is no rule book to life, and uniqueness is a good thing. And I am just so proud of you. And I hope you know that every single day. From the moment I met you, I've been proud of you. But, you know, to watch you grow in this is just, it is sick, man.
I appreciate that. I really do. I got lucky. I got so lucky.
We're going to be back with Taylor Graves, but we got to get this new song out to you guys right now. This is Gravestone from Taylor Graves and the Tombstone Trio, Aggieland Artist on Maverick 100.9. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can now find it anywhere that you stream and download music.
and today's interview continues now.
You heard it here first. That was Gravestone, Taylor Graves and the Tombstone Trio. We got my girl Taylor here. I'm so sorry we don't have the boys today. We were just talking about your uniqueness and what a good tribe you have. We've actually kind of been flying off the handle and talking about just about everything under the sun because that's just how me and Taylor do it. But, I want to talk about,
pure chaos all the time.
We want to talk about the chaos, man. So we've rebranded. It's not just Taylor Graves. We've got the Tombstone Trio now, but these are the same Aggies that you've been playing with, right?
Yeah, they are. And, it's crazy to me because when we started the band, originally we had a different bass player. And then Dave, who is my current bass player, used to play with Randy, who is my drummer, in their own band when they were in high school.
Oh.
So we've created this family almost. And that was something that I wanted so badly out of having a band. It wasn't I knew that I needed to have a band to be able to play these shows that I'm wanting to play and these stages and these rooms that I'm wanting to play. But my biggest goal with having a band was creating that family dynamic, that camaraderie between the four of us, where we just have a blast doing all of the things, not just music. And that is honestly and truly what I have found with these incredible human beings. They're all so beyond talented. And I know that no matter what, these guys have my back as I have theirs. And that is something that is just so hard to put into words how appreciative I am of that.
Yeah. Because
they really are like one of my biggest blessings. And I am so grateful for them. And I'm so grateful for their trust in me. And I come at them with these cover ideas and these song ideas, and not once have they shot me down. Not once. They have nothing but faith in me. And they have faith in me when I don't have faith in myself. And that speaks volumes to the types of guys that they are and what we've been able to accomplish in such a short time as a band is more than I thought I would ever accomplish in my career.
Yeah.
And we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we just talked about, this is the first single out to Texas country radio. Once again, obviously we've known Taylor Graves and the band and been playing their music, but that doesn't mean everybody else has. And so you're just on the first step. But I have to note, we were talking about how young you are and you have already stuck to your guns and figured out who you are. And you are already making your moves to change country music for women. But we've also got to talk about the fact that, when it comes to starting a band, we could even use the example of the Chad Cook Band. You mentioned you did a lot of work and got a lot of help from Kevin Poole. Well, when you talk about them, there is no Chad Cook Band without any one of those members. But do you know how hard that is to find your forever people? That's why you just have lead singers and they just hire bands.
Yeah.
It's a totally different dynamic, and it is a marriage. It is something that, you damn near have to be divorced to break apart, and you have to go through fights and ups and downs, and you have to get through them together, just as my husband and I would. So that's a really hard thing to do for a young person, and it is outrageously hard for a woman to have a bunch of dudes say, we've got you, and this is our thing. It is. I honestly could not give you an example of one woman that has actually started, besides the Runaways, which was an all-female band, that actually kind of stuck to their guns. Speaking of which, I met Sherry Curry this weekend and got advice from her. I'm not kidding you.
Did you cry?
I held it back.
I'm so proud of you. You've grown.
But we'll see. She seriously asked for my business card, and I'm like, what is my life? But anyway, that
We
went
love to
way
see
haywire.
it.
I just had to brag for a moment because I just can't believe my own life. But I know I'm doting on you and I'm a little sleepy right now. So I'm going a little nutty. So keep me on track if you need to. But the word proud keeps coming out.
Thank you. Well, I do. We're talking about being proud. I am so proud of what my guys have done with this song.
Yeah.
Because where this song started and where it is now, we worked with Chris Beal. He was our producer on this track, and on the other song that is also done that we are waiting to release, Waiting on Rain.
My name, that was my next question was, okay, I know you have more coming, so you better dish.
Oh yeah. But Chris had so much vision with our band and our songs and our creations, and everything that he said and suggested was so it was all stuff that I had thought about but never really thought about executing. And he kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop in the best way in terms of how to approach and attack Gravestone to turn it into the song that it is. And we had a little like rehearsal at like 1:00 in the morning that we were going into the studio, just to make sure that our arrangements for the songs were tight and down. And we totally changed the drum line of Gravestone, and it was totally different. And Randy just absolutely nailed it.
Aww.
Killed it in the studio. And the coolest thing to me about this song is a lot of people will go to Nashville or go to a recording studio and they'll record these songs that they write, and they'll just, they'll hire studio musicians to play the parts of these songs. But what you're getting from Gravestone is my band. It is the band.
And if you
Every
go see
member
them
is
live
playing their
and
respective instrument.
Yeah. And that actually transforms into a live show. So it's like, if you love the music that you hear recorded, you want to go see their show, you're actually getting the music that they recorded.
And we all sat in the same room and we tracked this song at the same time. We played this song like we were playing it live and throwing it on stage.
Good.
And that's why you're getting that authentic sound where we're all feeding off of one another's energy. And I remember sitting in the studio, and I'm kind of like in a little booth, but I can still see everybody. And we're playing the song, and we get done with that take that ended up being the take that we used. And I look over, and we all knew that that was the one. We all look over into the control room, and Chris is just standing up, just jumping around, like yelling, like we were all like, we've done it. Like, because we had spent all day tracking Waiting on Rain, and they were like, okay, now let's move on to Gravestone. And it took us such a fat minute to get the groove and get it tight and all be together. And then something just clicked. And all of us were like kind of in silent agreement that this was the take, and we were about to play the heck out of this song.
Yeah.
And we got done, and it was just the best feeling because I watched this song go from, that first day in our jam room in College Station to being tracked to now being on the radio. And it's all because of the people that were a part of this. It's Chris Beal, it's, Dylan Steen, Kevin Poole, but most importantly, it's my band.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable, and I owe them everything.
Well, I gotta say, this has come a long way since the little girl I met in the tap that cried when I told her she was that she was talking to Corliss.
I did cry. I forgot about that.
She's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Oh my God. And meeting you has always been one of my favorite memories. But, I've met a lot of artists and I've watched a lot of artists grow, and I'm watching you grow, and I get so happy to see it. I love that you are no longer that person that I loved before, because I'll always love that person. But you get to develop, and we all get to fall in love with you now, and you get to share your music, and girl, you got to keep rocking it. I'm so proud of your boys, and I hope you tell them that I love them dearly. I'm proud of your music, and I want everybody, because we got to wrap this up. We're running out of time because Zoom is mean to us, and Taylor decided to move to Austin, not come hang out in studio with me or nothing. So
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But you do have more music coming. Everybody can
Yes.
follow Taylor Graves and the Tombstone Trio for the more music that's going to be coming. And we're going to keep in touch with her. We're not going to let it go this long before we chat again. So, Taylor, we're wishing you all the luck. And we love you. And we're so excited to have our girl, our Aggieland artist, back on Maverick.
Thank you for having me.